I'm with Huw Phillips. Huw, for those who don't know, do you want to give yourself a little introduction?
Hey Kyle, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad up there in Scotland. Yeah, my name's Huw Phillips. I love Jaffa cakes. You can see I'm behind there, really. Jaffa cakes, Liverpool. I'm got a Liverpool flag and punk music. But apart from that, I'm just on a one-man mission to get people of my age back in the gym, back feeling great, back feeling healthy, energized, and get their bodies back, man, because we can and we should.
Great.
We owe
Yeah,
it to ourselves.
it's an
That's
awesome
it.
mission.
That's me.
So obviously you spent 3 decades working at the Royal Mail.
Yep.
You were senior management.
Yep.
So what was the moment that you realized you wanted to take a completely different direction into health and fitness?
It was a weird one. I fell back into it, Kyle, helping a mate out whose daughter kept failing the police fitness
Mm.
test. It's a bleep test. So he said to me, "Look, will you help my daughter get into the police?" I said, "Yeah, if I can, yeah, of course, no problem. It's only a bleep test." So a few weeks later, boof, she was in. And I had a bit of a basement gym at the time. I used to do this in 1997, right, in a
Right.
gym in London, just gym instructor stuff, nothing exciting. Anyway, so she got in the police,
Mm.
and then within a couple of weeks, I had three people come into the gym
All
from
right.
nowhere, which was not the plan. I was
Mm.
on the career stuff, and it was like, okay. And then 2 years later, I was doing it part-time alongside my
Mm.
job, and I got to 50, Kyle, and thought, I've got to go.
Yep.
I've got to go. I didn't mind messing it up. I didn't
Mm.
mind blowing the whole thing. Didn't mind making a complete mess of it, but I did mind the fear of regret,
Yeah.
So I got to 50 and walked, and that was the end of that.
No
Yep.
regret.
So
Yeah, regret's a massive one. It's definitely a common theme with the conversations I have where people taking the first step or the next step is there's all these things that happen in the world, but the last thing they want is regret.
absolutely, my only fear. That was
Yeah.
my only fear. I would. We've got a huge DPD depot not far away. I would go and deliver parcels to put
Mm.
food on the table. It was never that was never a problem. But I always remember thinking I was 50. I didn't want to get to 55, and now I'm almost 57, and go, what would have happened when,
Yeah.
or what would have happened at 50? And people say, was it hard leaving? It wasn't once you made the decision, once
Yeah.
it's clear, once you have clarity, it's easy. It's that, oh man, no wage
Mm.
packet at the end of the month, what ifs, all the stuff, of course. But sometimes you just got to go, hey man, this is what I'm meant to do. So
Yeah.
you've got. It's not easy. My kids are a bit older. I'll be honest, they were a
Mm.
little bit older. The university thing wasn't on the card, so that the financial
Mm.
pressures are off. But it's still a big step when you're having a good salary, and it's like, but oh, no regrets, not one, not one.
And also, age is just a number, as you can see.
Yeah, it's cliche.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of cliches, Kyle. The cliches for a reason, you know. I just don't buy the people. Two things I don't buy is age and time.
Mm.
I don't buy it. Everybody's busy. The whole world is chaotically busy. Everybody's busy. We can find, I mean, when I say I train for about 90 minutes a week, right, maximum, my session, I did a live one on
Mm.
Instagram yesterday. It was 17 minutes long. That was it. And people go, well, it's not enough. I said, well, I'm just telling you what to do, how we do it. It doesn't have to be this convoluted, long, boring, doing all sorts of crazy stuff. Just get in there with a plan, follow that plan, and leave. That's it. That's it. Simple, simple.
That kind of leads me perfectly onto this. Obviously, a lot of people say time is the biggest barrier. How do you feel your 20, 30 minute workouts kind of cut through that and still deliver the results?
Couple of things. One, they deliver the results, right? They deliver the results, but more importantly, several things. One is that everybody to slot in sort of 20 to 30 minutes is not overwhelming. To
No.
slot in an hour and a half plus travel time, and then you start adding, then you start stacking. Well, I got to get to the gym, I've got to park, then there's the hour session, then there's the shower. All of a sudden, it's 2 hours. So it takes that away. It works.
Mhm.
Training for half
Mhm.
an hour works if you train with that intensity and with that effort, but also the psychology of, well, I won't be in there for long. You know, I
Yeah.
won't be in there. Oh my God, doing 10 sets of something. I won't have that
Mhm.
thought. I'm just going to go in, do my, I think yesterday's was 11 sets, including warm-ups. So that's it. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. I'm going to go to a dark place. But once it's done,
That's
I'm
it.
done.
Yeah.
I'm out of there, and it just allows people, it's allowed me to be super, super consistent. That's
Mhm.
my only sort of superpower is those short sessions has allowed me to do it forever because I don't have to fit it in because it's literally, if you live 10 minutes from a gym, I say you should be door to door within about 50 minutes. That's door to
Mhm.
door, you know. And bottom line is as well, it works. I can tell you a quick story, Kyle. I
Yeah,
was
no,
in a gym.
absolutely.
I was in a commercial gym. I go now and again just for a change of
Mhm.
scene. It was about 18 months ago now, and there was a guy in there talking to me, and nice guy in his 30s, so he wasn't a kid, talking about training. I think he saw me on Facebook or something. So we're just chatting, and he said, he said, I train for an hour and a half, 2 hours. He said, 5 or 6 days a week. I said, oh, that's great. He said, what do you do? I said, well, I train for about 90 minutes. I said, a week. He said, a week. I said, yeah. He said, it's not enough. It's not enough. I said, well, I don't impose my views, Kyle. This
Mhm.
is what I do, and people can do their own thing, crack on. But I said, oh, yeah. And no, I said, it's not enough to do it. I said, take your top off then. And he went, oh, and the penny dropped,
Yeah.
It's like, and I wasn't, and it was a nice conversation. I wasn't trying to belittle him. It was just that fact of, I'm just telling you how I do it, and
Yeah.
you get results. And because people are busy, and people are busy. I accept that. I
Mhm.
don't accept
Mhm.
too busy, but people are busy. So
Yeah.
the 20 to 30 minutes just works on all counts for me.
So, do you feel the skills and discipline from working a corporate life has helped you coach and structure your programs?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Because like I do understand people are genuinely busy.
Mhm.
The people that I work with, they CEOs, right? I'm not
Yeah.
dropping, obviously everything's private and confidential, but these guys run big businesses,
Mhm.
genuinely, they're not Instagram scrolling
Yeah.
short people, these are genuinely busy people. And that's why I've trained like this for a long time because I didn't have a lot of time back in the day when the kids were small and,
Mhm.
working long hours. I didn't, and I just refined it. Plus, it makes logical sense to me. I don't, from old bodybuilding days, Dorian Yates used
Yeah.
to, one set, and that. I mean, I'm a lifetime natural, but it makes sense to me once you've hit the muscle you're trying to hit to the degree that it's done. I
That's it.
always use the crack. There ain't no point in doing no more. Do you
Mhm.
know? You've shot the horse. The horse is, this that type of thing, and it just makes sense. Or because I've always liked to challenge beliefs and the status quo.
Mhm.
My music taught me that. I'll be honest with you. My music taught me that. Who gives up? Who cares?
Yeah.
Who said back in my day, Kyle, it was 4 sets of 8 to 12, wasn't it? Right?
Mhm.
Who decided that? That's a
Yeah.
random figure. And it's like, do I need to do 4 sets of 80%, or can I do one set at 99%
Mhm.
or more? Right. And that's just makes much more sense. Or I'm just ticking boxes. And I
Mhm.
never like ticking boxes ever because it's like I'm just doing something because it's on a sheet or it's on a
Yeah.
tick list. No, so that shaped my belief on training. Get in. Same in the workplace. We can either get the job done or we can talk about it and make it complicated, or we can add layers and layers of friction to it. I've seen it for forever in Royal Mail, or we can just leave me alone and let's just get it done.
Yeah.
Got me in more trouble than most, with directors back in the day, but look, leave me
But you
alone.
got it done.
I'll get it done. How much do you want to save? Right,
Mhm.
5%. Right, okay. Go away then. Come back in a year's time and we'll get you
Mhm.
it's a bit crass, but it's like, let's do it rather than talk about doing it. So
Absolutely.
that,
And even from my bodybuilding gym experiences, when I was a coach, the 4 to 8's safe. No one's going to hurt themselves trying to do 4 to 8
yeah,
or 8 to 12. But the Dorian hit it and done. It
yeah.
worked.
Works. It works. Again, people, if you're in for an hour, right?
Hmm.
I don't care who you are, your mind will wander. These are just human
Oh yeah.
behavior stuff, right? It doesn't matter if you're a 6-year-old housewife, you're thinking about doing, right, I've got to go and get the shopping, I've got to cook tea, I've got to do the washing, or I've got that meeting, that
Mhm.
email, that, oh my God, I forgot to message him or her or
Yeah.
whatever it is, And after 30 minutes, I think people's concentration just goes anyway because people are busy.
Mhm.
So for me, that's when injuries could come in as well. It's like right, let's just grab the dumbbells, right? You're thinking about all
Yeah.
sorts, and you try and you rush in it, you know. But I always say for half an hour, shut the world out. I've got them here. I'll always put big headphones on.
Yep.
Sometimes don't even switch them on, right? It's just like, especially in a commercial gym, it's a symbol to the world and to yourself, right? For half an hour, I'm out.
Yep.
No one's going to die. No one's going to starve. No
Mhm.
one's going to be, the roof ain't going to cave in 30 minutes. And then you can just dial in. And again, the psychology of doing one set, Kyle, is you do a set and you think, right, get it done, push beyond. It's going to hurt. You're going to go. But once you've done it, you haven't got to do it again.
Yeah.
That's the bit. It's like, right, when that's done, that leg extension, it's gonna hurt. You're gonna get the lactic acid, is whatever it is. But once it's done, okay, move on. You
Hmm.
know, and I'm a big fan of the psychology and human behavior side of stuff,
Yeah.
rather than just do that. Because I always say to people, you can get everything I'm going to tell you off Chat GPT or YouTube in the next 3 minutes.
Mm.
You can get a training plan and a diet, for example. Great. How do you implement it? How do you execute it? Do you remember Bill Phillips? Do you remember?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I always pinch his company was EAS, wasn't it?
Hmm.
Back in the day. And I pinched the initials. How do you execute it? Who holds you accountable? And where's the support?
Yeah.
That's what ChatGPT and YouTube can't do, isn't it? So
Hmm.
yeah, it's all about doing the work, man. It's all about doing
Yeah.
the work.
Absolutely. And even as you were saying, you do it once and it's done.
Yeah,
Because I used to, when I first started, it was the 4 sets, and but I would try and hit it as hard as the 1 set. But
yeah.
on set two, set three, I was like, I can't.
Gassed it. Gassed. You can't. You can't.
It was after training with, as you said, Dorian and from Cardiff, Mike and Lisa Gillespie.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It was
Yeah.
after training with them, they were like, just hit it, kill it, done.
Get it done. It's like
Yeah, it changed everything for me training wise.
uh, I, I went to Temple Gym. I didn't train with Dorian, right? This is a
Mm.
true story. But he was there, right? In 1996, we had friends in Birmingham, so they were going shopping. I thought, oh no, no,
Mm.
I'll go to the gym, and he was there. But I was watching his stuff, reading his stuff mostly at the time, wasn't
Mm.
it? There was not so much internet and stuff, but it just made sense to
Yeah.
me, you know. And I done a video a couple of years back where I put a nail in a bit of wood, and I got a little pin hammer.
Mm.
I was tapping this nail into this wood, and you can tap it all day long. That nail isn't going in,
Mm.
it's not going in. You can tap, or you can change the hammer, you know. So I changed the hammer, hit that nail once, bang,
Done.
and it's wood. And I think it's a great analogy. Is like we can tap away, or we can get it done.
Hmm.
I like efficiency, right?
Yeah.
I like effectiveness, and I like, I always say I've got my own gym. And
Hmm.
Dorian, you said this a while, like years ago. I've got my own gym as well. And I love training and I love the gyms. If to get the result that I want, it needed me to spend 3 hours down there, I'm pointing just down my garden,
Hmm.
right? To spend 3 hours a day, 7 days a week in the gym to get the result, do you think I'd be prepared to do it? Yes, I would. If
Yeah.
that's what it took, I would do it 100%. But it doesn't. It takes me 30 minutes top sessions a week.
Hmm. So you spoke about CEOs, and obviously they're busy people. It requires a lot of energy doing what they do. A common thing with a lot of CEOs is obviously health struggles because they're not focusing on health,
Yeah,
they're focusing on business and whatnot.
yeah, yeah.
What do you think the most common mistake that busy professionals do make when it comes to looking after themselves?
I think everyone I deal with, when they're not skeptical, but they're like, this half an hour, what's this 30-minute thing? How does that work? Because they
Mhm.
can't. because we programmed, a gym session is an hour and
Yeah.
a PT session's an hour. We programmed it for be an hour. And I think they go, and it's got to be 6 days a week, and you've got to go on starvations, and you've got to go on to get a result. It's got to be extremes. Everything has to be extremes.
Yeah.
So they just go, well, I just can't, and they can't. They
Mm.
can't fit that in. They can't fit 6 gym sessions for an hour and a half, and they genuinely can't. And that's, but when they discover the 30 minutes, because like for example, and I don't do any of the crazy lifts, right?
Mm.
People say like I don't do squats with a bar. I love squats, but I don't do barbell squats.
Mm.
I don't do bench press with a bar. Too much strain on the joints for me. Barbell squats, too much strain
Yeah.
on the lower back, and I don't do deadlifts off the floor, right? And I don't train biceps and triceps. So people go, well, you don't do the three big lifts that you
Mm.
meant to, no, you meant to do, and you don't train arms. And I've stood on the stage. I've stood on stage
Yeah.
3 times after 50, right? But again, yeah, but when they get once you take all the fluff away and you go, right, 4 exercises done, they buy into it, and when they understand it and then see the results, oh my, they're off and running then because they know it doesn't have to consume their life. It can be a
Mm.
really good bedrock, a really good foundation. Poof. And the business gets better because the clarity gets better, they're more energized
Yeah.
and they're feeling better. So guess what? The clarity comes in with work as well. So yeah, it's just the fear of I haven't got time based on what they believe is the
Mm.
time needed.
And that's it. I was saying there are four exercises. Like my workouts are maximum six exercises.
Yeah,
And someone stopped me in the gym and they were like, "Oh, you're already finished."
yeah.
And it was that. And I'm like, "Yeah, because I hit it and that's it. If I do more, I'm going to hurt myself."
You could hurt and get bored and fall out of love with it and
Yeah.
dread going. I was in Spain a couple of weeks back, and I went in the gym that's just behind us, and I went in and did my session. As I walked out, the guy, I see if I can do it now. The guy sort of just twisted his watch. He
Hmm.
had it down by his side like that, right? And he sort of just twisted it to have a look, and then looked as if to say, "You've only just come in,"
Hmm.
you know. And he was fine, but it's like. And the one thing I will say, Kyle, is I go in the gym. I love going into gyms, right? I'm like a child. It's probably the same for yourself. It's
Oh,
like a play,
100%.
right? If I'm in Spain, I go into the paddle club. It's a zoo, right?
Hmm.
In Marbella,
Hmm.
right? All these gyms, and they're great. Hand on heart, I see people that very few people are training hard.
Yeah.
You know, very few, and that sounds a bit grand from someone as old as me, but it's like very few are training hard. They're all posturing and filming and
Hmm.
and spending hours and flicking on their phones, but very few people are training hard. And my
Yeah.
people are busy. My people are just be one of my guys. I won't say who it is. Obviously,
Hmm.
whenever I speak to him, he says, "Hugh, you know I love you. I have no idea how this works, right?" And this guy's got a big law firm, right? I
Yeah.
have no idea how it works. It just does,
Yeah.
and that'll
That's
do
it.
me. And that'll do me because they don't want to know how. They don't want to know that they
They don't
got
have
two
time to.
conversations going on. They just tell them what to do.
Mhm.
Oof, you know?
That's it. And the gym's not a fashion show at the end of the day.
No,
That's
no.
that's for outside.
As for outside, people go. I use this analogy as well. If I picked my gym up, put it in certain people's gardens, moved in with them, and become their personal chef,
Hmm.
still go, that's brilliant, that's amazing. Now, as soon as I get my new gym gear, my new clothing,
Hmm.
then I'll be ready to. And it's like, come on, take the friction away. And,
Yeah.
just don't worry about anything. Just get your plan, go in there, follow that, and leave. It really is that simple.
Oh, 100%. Like for me, half the time I'm carrying around a mop bucket because dripping a sweat, you wear
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
but outside, you feel better.
Feel better, feel better. And the smugness you get from going in and knowing you've worked harder than anybody else in the
Mm.
gym, which is a bit of a bold statement because clearly as people train
Yeah.
hard, right? So I'm not that sort of, broad brush, but it's like, I'll put a little shift in there for half an hour, and it works,
Mm.
yeah, and the feeling of doing something for yourself and the energy. The human body is a dynamo, isn't it? It's got to be revved up. It's
Yeah.
got to be revved up. It's got to be charged to work properly, and that's the bit that people get. If you're not working it, it isn't working properly.
Mhm. So, as you said, your style is very no fluff, no thrill, no frills. Um, Can you break down what it means and why you keep things simple? Obviously, more away from chasing trends,
Yeah,
very old school.
yeah, yeah.
So, kind of break it down for me. What does, for people who don't know, what does the old school style look like opposed to the modern trends?
With regards to training now,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
Again, everybody's different, right? If people have got 2 days a week, again, everything's personalized. And if someone
Mm,
says, I always say, what's the absolute non-negotiable times you can get to the gym? Twice, right? We'll do two full body programs then if it's
mm,
twice a week. You know, full body, it'd be one chest exercise, one legs, one back, one shoulders.
yep,
Job done twice. And with a little bit of variety, I tend to, if somebody's going twice, I'll tend to write three programs up, three
yeah.
sessions rather. So Monday, Thursday, Monday, then repeat. So they've
Mm,
got a little bit of variety, but they learn the exercises. If somebody's going 3 days a week, I might do an upper lower split. But
mm,
again, very simple. It'll be four upper bodies. It'll be probably two back, big muscles,
yeah.
one chest, one shoulders, because
Hmm.
shoulders get so much work
Yeah.
anyway with all the pull. And legs would be, one quads, one hamstrings, and then a big movement like a pendulum squat or a leg
Mm,
press or something, and that would be it. You know, simple as that. Once you warmed up, one set. That's
perfect.
it.
Yeah.
That's it. Because I think the people that I deal with, Kyle, they
Hmm.
got a million. They genuinely got a million decisions on their plate, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If I put a really complicated program in, I wouldn't be comfortable because I don't understand different rep ranges, and it's like all friction. Well, it's just go in and do that for 8 to 12 ish. I always put ish. Who
Hmm.
cares? I won't show you because this might be a family friendly one, but I've got a bottle here and it says something on the front of it. I won't show you, but it's
No,
quite
no,
crass.
you can put what you want. It's not
Is
family
that all right?
friendly.
It just says just lift the
Yeah.
thing. And it's a crass version of what I actually mean is like, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares if you're lifting 10 kilos and I'm lifting 50?
Hmm.
If you're putting that effort in, that's the only thing that counts. Everything else is fluff. And by taking the friction out of, they haven't got to go in and go, well, that set is 12 reps for 3 sets, and then I do two
Hmm.
sets of 15 to 20. It's all becomes a mess. It's like, no, 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 we're just going in 6 weeks. We push for 6 weeks,
Hmm.
and we'll flatten it off a little bit, change the exercises, change the sessions up, refresh, take a week off to deload or just
Hmm.
chill out, and then we go again. Again, really simple, basic stuff. But it ain't sexy, Kyle. It doesn't sell, does it?
Yeah.
When you
Oh.
make things. But I'm unapologetic. That's how I train.
Hmm.
That's how I train my people. I just say, look, we can make it complicated or we can get the job done.
Hmm.
It's the same choice, really.
Where I'm from, there's quite a big bodybuilding scene. We've got a few Mr. Universes and
Right? Okay.
Mr. Worlds, Mr. Europe, you name it. They're all from here, and
Yeah.
or at least local to here. And the gym I was training from, I think about 14 up, had two Mr. Universe.
Right.
And I had the pleasure, one day stopped me and was like, I see potential, let's train together. And there
Yeah.
used to be, say, him and two or three others that would train together and they'd all rotate the workouts. And one thing he said, ego gets in the way, but
Oh,
I need
yeah.
I need to keep reminding myself this is it doesn't, as you said, just lift it. It doesn't matter what it is. It's a tool. Whether you need it for 1 rep, 10 reps, 1,000 reps, get in, get it done, leave with it.
Yeah.
Because he used to even speak about like he had a gym where he was originally from, and the gym flooded one day, and he looked and he was like, "Well, I still need to get my workout in." And he had, I think it was like twos, fives, and elastic bands. He was like,
Yeah.
"Wow, I'm just going to have to shoulder press elastic bands for 50 reps
Yeah.
because the 50 kilos is soaking."
Yeah.
And he's like,
Ab-
"The weight's just a tool, the
Absolutely.
machine's a tool, the rep range is a tool. Use what you need
Absolutely.
to use to get it done."
I've nothing further to add. I
Yeah.
taught a lot of my people work out from home with
Mhm.
literally a couple of bands, or in some cases nothing. They got nothing. But we put some body weight stuff, proper stuff. It's not Joe Wicks jumping about in
Yeah.
front of your TV doing burpees, and it's proper stuff. Doing isometric holds again,
Mhm.
hard, hard,
Oh,
hard.
yeah.
Done properly, brutal. I put some in my own program just because they're hard.
Mhm.
but people that can get it done, and they go, my God, I don't have to leave my living room. I can do 20 minutes. I feel as if I've worked properly, and I can get on my day. So yeah, I agree totally.
Mm.
Kit is kit. They're all tools. Some are shiny. I love all types of gyms, but at the end of the
Yeah.
day, I watched MTV Cribs years ago, and
Mhm.
Floyd Mayweather was showing people around his
Yeah.
zillion-dollar mansion in Las Vegas, and he had this shower with all these jets and everything floating in. It was years ago, and he said, "Yeah," he was explaining it, and he said,
Mm.
"Yeah, but the thing is, you still got to get in there and wash your ass." And it's so true, isn't it? You can have the best gym in the world. It don't matter. You've still got to go in there and
Just
do this.
so, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So when it comes to food, obviously we've
Yeah.
spoke about training. When it comes to food, you build the plans to fit.
Yeah.
Obviously, busy people, real world, life happens. So what's some nutritional myth that you wish people would stop believing?
Ooh, myths. Um, I don't like the word treat for a start, right?
Mm,
Like we're not dogs. We don't have a pat on the head and a biscuit. It's like I just believe in eating food you love, food you enjoy.
mm,
No extremes. To get in good shape, no extremes would be the fad or the idea that people seem to have. And we pre-programmed. I don't even have a go at people. We're
mm,
programmed to go on starvation diets. You know, Women, especially from my generation, have been dieting forever. And low
yeah,
fat and
yeah,
low fat. And when you regards to fads, all of them, all of them. It sounds a bit broad and a bit wish. It's like everything's, if it's got a, I would say if your diet's got a name and a start date on it, it's going to fail because by definition there's an end date to it.
mm,
And by definition there's a deviation to it. You're on carnivore and you go to a party and there's no meat. I'm making this up. What do you do? Do you know? And
mm,
all of a sudden, then, if you cheat, you've blown it. Oh, see, this doesn't work for me. Right, what's the
yeah,
next thing? So everybody's different. I try and work with everybody's likes and dislikes down to the fact I say to people, where do you work and what does that matter? Well, if you've got a Greg's, in the building below
mm.
or next door, we've got a different set of problems than, and but everybody's different. I just don't like fads. I like people to eat food they enjoy. If you don't like what's on your plate, for example, we don't work 8, 9, 10, 12 hours a day to come home and sit down to a chicken salad. Do you know?
Yeah, no.
Let's be real. That's, for a good day in, whatever you do, I had a tough day, can't we get home now, sit down with the kids, whoever, and sit down to a, scraggy bit of lettuce and 3 bits of chicken, which is the extreme diet
Hmm.
stuff, isn't it?
Hmm.
And again, I try and work with people if they like eating in the mornings or the evenings. We work the plan in. What do you love? Dark chocolate, right? Okay, we'll put that in. We'll build it in
Hmm.
because you've got to have flexibility for the
Oh,
long term.
absolutely.
And for the long term,
Hmm.
everything's for longevity with me, Kyle. I'll never do 8 or 12 week transformations.
Hmm.
I'll never do them because we all see the before picture and the after picture, but we never see the after picture,
Yep.
do we?
Hmm.
And it's like this is set up for life. Can you do this for
Hmm.
life? If the answer is yeah, this is pretty, then we're on. Then we win in. We win in. So all fads, anything with a name, really.
There's two things you said there about dates that I found quite interesting. There was someone else
Yeah,
I'd spoke to recently, and they said, if whatever you're doing has a start date, or you've counted how many days you're doing it, you're expecting to fail.
absolutely.
Like if
I like
you
him or
quit
her.
smoking, for instance, and you're like, oh, I've not smoked in 3 days. Well, you're waiting for the next excuse to say, I managed 10.
Yeah,
So, no, I do like that. Don't put a
yeah.
date on it.
100%. Again, if it's got a date, that means it's starting,
Hmm.
and if it's starting, there's an end.
Yeah.
Do you know? So by default, it's like, oh, can't wait. Can't wait for 12 weeks. I can't get a break from this. So
Hmm.
you run on willpower and motivation, and those two ain't a friend of yours. They ain't a friend of ours, are
Yeah.
they? Motivation and willpower. Literally running on sheer bloody mindedness to get this thing done. And right, great, which is great, and it
Hmm.
sounds amazing, but what happens then? What happens next?
Yeah.
And it's like treat people, if people fall off the wagon, they say, well, what's this wagon then? We're not on no
Yeah.
wagon, It's like, okay, Saturday night is curry and bottle of wine night, right? Curry and bottle of wine it is then. Do you know? That's your
Yeah.
life. Well, we can make a couple of changes elsewhere and tweaks. I try and work with people's diets, Kyle, and tweak and play with that rather than
Mhm.
say, right, forget that now. You've eaten that way for 45 years, right? Forget that today. Tomorrow you're going to eat like this,
Mhm.
we're just
Yeah, it
not
doesn't
what
work.
absolute, that's a diet plan, isn't it? And I don't do diet plans because what I'm conscripting people to eat Greek yogurt. And they may hate Greek yogurt or, it's like,
Yeah.
it's a nonsense. It's a nonsense, isn't it?
Yeah, when I first started coaching, the two common things I always got was one, um, people would sign up and say, I've got a holiday in 6 weeks. And I'm like, that's great. But as soon as you go on holiday, a weekend, you're going to feel how you felt at the start of this.
Yeah,
So it's not holiday in 6 weeks. It's you're going on holiday in 6 weeks. But
yeah,
afterwards, what are you doing?
yeah,
Just like what you're
100%.
saying there.
100%. The only time I would go strict, Gal, the only time I would is if people are in a really good spot, been training for a while, everything's good,
Mm.
everything's nice and even keel stuff, and they're in the last 3 or 4 weeks before their holiday.
Yeah.
I would then, providing they fully understand what's going to happen after it, you
Yeah.
know,
You
i.e.
tighten things up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, you tighten it up, right? We're going to take that extra little 3 or 4 pound off because you want to look good in a bikini or a bather. But
Mm.
don't forget, that'll go back on really quickly and some more when you're on holiday. As long as you're at peace with that, then I don't mind. But it's got to be in a good place to start with. It's no good struggling, then realizing, oh my God, 3 to 4 weeks for holidays. Let's blast it. No,
Mm.
no, we need to be doing that. And then, okay, let's have a little ramp for 2 or 3 weeks. Take that extra 2 or 3 pound
Mm.
off providing again it's that's the aftercare is don't forget I'm happy to do it providing you realize that 2 weeks after it's gonna you're gonna put a bit of weight on and all the rest of it, but if they're good I don't mind that,
Yeah.
but that's the only time I'll ever do it.
Another common thing with holidays is that's great. You ramp it up, but it only looks good for the first 2 days.
Of
If you're at
course.
the all inclusive and you put it in the wall, 2 days later, you're back to how you were
Absolutely.
3 or 4 weeks before.
Absolutely, and again, as long as people are aware of it, as long as
Yeah.
people are okay with it, as long as you don't say, well, we're going to do this and don't tell them the full picture.
Hmm.
People make an informed decision, don't they?
Yeah.
This is what's going to happen. Right, it's up to you now. Everything's a choice, isn't it? Everything's a
Hmm.
choice. You know,
Absolutely.
long as they understand the full bit.
So obviously you worked with some really high performers. Can you share a transformation story? Obviously you don't need to give names or anything
Yeah,
that's really stuck with you and what you learned from that story itself or that transformation itself.
yeah. I mentioned one of the guys earlier. Um, I love it when people are completely non-gym people.
Mhm.
You know, that far away from, never done anything
Mhm.
before for whatever reason. And decide they want to change. So I've got a guy who's never done it. Big business, runs his own. He's the CEO and founder of this company.
Mhm.
Travels a lot, and he just bought into it. He literally went, well, okay, I'll leave it to you. Just tell me what.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done anything like this before. Um, I'll chuck myself in, and he trains at home. And that for me is a great result. Somebody who just has never done it, never, and not struggled with his weight, but never been in shape.
Yeah.
One of those, and he just got it,
Mhm.
and still carries on and re-signed with me, which for me is the ultimate accolade
Oh
as
yeah.
well
Yeah.
when somebody re-signs. But I got one of my other guys is his company's about to be sold, and he's given up alcohol throughout the next 9 months
All right.
because of he wants to be that much fitter and
Mm.
healthier while he's going through a really big work
Yeah.
period. It's when people like that just get it, I guess. Just
Mhm.
buy into it. But that the guy who works out from home, and he wasn't cynical or skeptical. He just, well, I don't know. So he was like that.
Yeah.
Let's try it, and yeah, it's great. It's great, and there's hundreds over the years, but I just like the underdog. I like the
Yeah.
underdog. I just like the underdog. Always have, because that was me, I guess.
Yeah, it's the ones that stick with you. I had a client who she struggled with her weight,
Yeah.
but her big thing was she always wanted to have kids. And there was a complication with it, and the doctor had said, basically, your weight is difficult.
Yeah.
So she turned up, and I was like, right, let's talk goals, pain points, that next thing. And that's all she said is, I want to be able to have a child.
Oh, well,
And we worked, and ups, downs, days of tears, can't do it. Um, and we got 6 months in, and she was like, I'm going on holiday. Um, I don't want to ruin things. And I'm like, it's a week. You won't just keep sticking to the plan, enjoy yourself.
yeah.
And she came back from a holiday, her first session in, and she started crying. And I said, what is it? And she's like, found out I'm pregnant. And that was it. It was just
Oh,
someone who'd never been before, and they had their one goal. And I stopped PT in a couple of years ago now and bumped into her. She's got the kid, she's still doing it in shape. And
good.
it was just that sort of thing of the underdog. No
Yeah.
idea. You tell me, I'll do it. This is what I want.
I love that
Yeah.
story. And that's well, it's a bit grand because we get a bad rap, don't we?
Mm.
For changing people's lives, but
Yeah. That's
that
it.
is it. That's the ultimate life changer, isn't it? Apart
Yeah.
from reversing some, we're not witch doctors by any means, but there's no doubt that exercise training and weight training in particular, the benefits are
Oh yeah.
massive,
Life changing.
life changing. And people are scared of weights. People are
Yeah.
scared of weights.
Yeah.
Women because they think they'll get big and bulky and look like a
Mm.
man, and men because gyms are intimidating, Kyle. There's no
Oh,
there's no two
100%.
ways about it. I'll walk into any gym in
Mm.
Marbella or Dubai. I'm like a child, but I'm the odd exception.
Mm.
For even the most confident man walking into a
Mm.
gym and his big, either the gorillas or the gym shark people, the beautiful people, all in the weights, and you see 1,000 machines all gleaming, and all of a sudden you just melt, and then you end up on the treadmill
Mm.
for 20 minutes, and 3 weeks later you quit because it's just not for you. But and that's what we try and do is break down those barriers as well. Once we give them the confidence,
Yeah.
these things are massive.
Oh,
No,
100%.
Edwards.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I've
I
got
know
mine here. Yeah.
walk in with a plan. It's overwhelming if you walk in and go, right, right, what am I due to do today? And all of a sudden, and then you sort of wander over to the leg extension because you know that machine and
Mm.
you do a couple of half-hour sets of that, right? What's next? And you look around for a free machine, and all of a sudden you think the whole world's looking at you, and it's like, whereas if you walk in going, right, what am I doing? Leg extensions, lat pull downs, right? Boof, leg extensions. Next, lat pull down, boof. Your confidence is there by default because you know where you're going rather than just
Mm.
sort of um and that's once we
Oh,
break that down,
yeah.
people love it, don't they? Once they realize that nobody cares either. Nobody cares.
That's a massive one. I've got a friend who's just started the gym, and she'll go on the treadmill or the elliptical and
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Happy there. But anything else, people are looking, what if this? What if that? What's the next thing? Like, if someone's looking, they're daydreaming. They're not,
You know, I
they're
always
all
say,
there for the same thing.
there's two people in the gym, right? There's the
Hmm.
proper trainers. If I'm in a gym now and Mrs. Jones, who's clearly a fish out of water, right,
Hmm.
wanders, I would give it I wouldn't make eye contact because I'm aware of it, right? But I
Yeah.
would give that knowing smile of go on,
Yeah.
well done, well done. Those that would look. They are just so immersed in themselves. They're not really looking anyway.
No.
So nobody's looking. I wouldn't look because I respect her. I
Mm.
really admire what she's doing. And the posers are too busy in the mirror anyway.
Yeah.
So,
That's the
so
thing.
nobody looks. Once they realize that, they
Mm.
know them. But it's hard to start. It is hard. It is hard.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
So, couple personal ones. For you,
Yep.
what does a successful day look like? What does a perfect day look like compared to when you worked at Royal Mail? So, what's your
Oof.
perfect day now in comparison?
A perfect day for me. It's hard with training because it's just
Mm.
it's just in. That's just
Yeah.
in. You know. that's just in. A perfect day is getting ahead of myself in the morning,
Hmm.
right? Because I spend all my life working evenings and nights,
Yeah.
right? So when I finished, I flipped it now. I go to bed. Come 8:30, I'm ready for the stairs, But I get up at 4:45, not for any reason, and I don't have a you've seen the
Yeah.
morning routines, I journal and ice bath and meditate. Oh man, I get up, I literally scratch my eyes, scratch something else, drink water, and go down. And I
Mm.
move. First thing I ever do is move. I move in the morning. I've got a treadmill here. I'll walk because the weather's getting a bit shitty
Yeah.
now. So I move, and then I try and get ahead of the game so I can have a couple of hours off every day. I
Hmm.
try and get finished by 11 o'clock in the morning. But I've been awake since 5. All right, some of that is me training as well, but it's like if I can get ahead, I've got a list, keep it all, everything. I'm not a, there's my list. You can't really see it, but that's what I need to do every day. That's it. And I just boom, literally pen and paper, tick it off. I know if I've done that, I'm going to get everything I need to be done, and try not to get distracted and doing stupid stuff.
Yeah.
So a winning day is get it done by 11:30. Go out for a couple of hours, do what I got to do, go shopping, food, cook, whatever it is. Two boys have bought houses, so go and look after them. Apart
Hmm.
from that, and then just feel at the end of the day, yeah, I've done what I need to do. But
Yeah.
because people of my age lack purpose sometimes, a lot of the time,
Hmm.
lack, and people, friends of mine now are either retiring or are finishing, and I couldn't think of anything worse. What are you going to do? What are you going to
Yeah.
do
All day.
yourself?
Hmm.
It's like I'm going to work, I'm going to go back into working 40, 60 hours of high
Hmm.
pressure. But what are you going to do in the morning? Where's your purpose? And I love getting up with a purpose. I've got things to do. I want to train. I've got stuff I want to do. I got my clients online. I need to. And the big thing for me, um, I don't know if you're aware of a guy called Rory Sutherland. Have you ever heard
Yes.
of
Yeah.
Rory?
Yeah.
And he's Welsh, which is good news. But
Hmm.
he's just a genius. And that's something I picked up on and I've been doing for years without really realizing it, is
Hmm.
reverse benchmarking. You know, I hire coaches myself, still do, with no intention of using them, just to see what sort of service they provide, you know. And I've done it for a long time. And I like my big thing, apart from my age, and I understand
Hmm.
how the busy man is, I'm available to my people. You know, I do say after 7 o'clock when I'm probably looking for
Hmm.
bed, but until then, that's the difference. Just phone me, text me, message me, whatever. I'll get back to you today. The last thing a high performer wants is to book a calendar, go onto his laptop, book a Calendly link
Hmm.
to speak to me on Friday,
Yeah.
about a problem or a question he's got today. And I like to be available. If my people got a question today, they want an answer today,
Yeah.
and they,
Yeah.
and they expect an answer today, and they pay a premium for that. And I understand that, but that's the big thing for me is like once I see a Calendly link, I'm done. I'm done. It's like right, you can't even be bothered to talk to me. Or well,
No,
great,
absolutely.
thanks for that. So yeah, get ahead of the game.
Hmm.
Get ahead of the game. Keep stress levels down, and keep active, and keep well, and keep energized. If
Hmm.
I keep healthy, cliche time again, Kurt, if you keep healthy, you're winning.
Yeah.
You're
No,
winning,
absolutely.
you know?
So, finish things off.
Yep.
Last question. Everyone I interview leaves an anonymous message for the next person. So, my
Okay.
last said, don't forget to play during the hustle.
Right.
Um, so, their thing is they were just at the Edinburgh Fringe, they were doing a show, and normally it's show, 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 show till they're done. And this year they were like, no, I'm going to go see other shows. I'm going to live a little because the last thing they wanted is to get to 60, 70 and realize what was it
Yeah.
all for.
Yeah.
So, what would you like to pass on to the next person?
Oh, wow. Give me a second. Give me a second. Um, oof. Obviously, it's fitness related with me. It clearly is. Although it's not one dimensional because I do have I've just had my 10th, sorry, quick story. I've just had my 10th anniversary in business, right?
Yeah.
I'm, I'm gonna love a Jaffa Cakes, right? I'm gonna love a Jaffa Cakes, okay?
Mhm.
Right? I'm even got a Jaffa Cake dispenser, okay? So you can see it.
That's brilliant.
Right? You pull them up the bottom, right? Brilliant. You can't get these anymore. Anyway, I genuinely have a love, right? But everybody just bought me Jaffa Cakes. So at one time I had 220 Jaffa Cakes here, right? So I've just been dishing them out to people.
Yeah.
But so again, you've got to have your balance in life as
Yeah.
well. So balance is whatever you interpret, though, in my opinion. So what would I leave for other people is, I would say, the big thing is protect your energy at all times.
Hmm.
That's just boring, plain, obvious, but it's not. Most people don't. Do everything you can to protect your energy because energy underpins everything.
Oh yeah. And I've noticed a bit of a theme with a few of the people I've spoken to recently. Like not my last, the one before said a similar thing, and it was watch the tribe you hang about with because
Yeah,
that shows what energy you have.
absolutely.
And I've noticed quite a few people recently talking about sort of looking after yourself, protect your energy.
Yeah. And done. And the other one, which I've done from day one, it goes back to my punk ethos,
Hmm.
I guess, is don't follow the crowds either. I
Yeah.
get off on it. I genuinely get off on it now. It's like, what are you doing at your age doing this? But I love the fact, right? Bit of a braggy type of statement or whatever. I love the fact I could take my top off and go, people go, what,
Yeah.
57, coming up. And it's great. But everybody can. That's the point I say to
Yeah.
people. I'm a lifetime natural, which is not a moral statement at
Mhm.
all, right? Free world. But I do what I do. I
Yeah.
love my jam cakes, right? And I love my dark chocolate and I like my food, but you can still get it all. You can still have it all and great energy because energy, it's on my script. The only thing I talk about, energy,
Mhm.
energy, energy, energy.
Thank you so much, Miss.
No problem.
It's been awesome. I've really enjoyed this.
No problem at all. Good stuff. Loved it. Loved the chat.